In a forgotten village surrounded by dusty roads and dry fields lived Grace Parker and her only son, Nathan Parker. Their tiny house had no electricity, no proper roof, and sometimes not enough food. But every morning before sunrise, Grace woke up with the same purpose: to make sure her son reached school. The nearest school was nearly 10 kilometers away. There were no buses,
No bicycles.
no money for transport. So every day Grace walked, miles and miles under the burning sun, through muddy roads, heavy rain, and freezing mornings. At first, Nathan was too young to understand the sacrifice. He thought his mother simply enjoyed walking beside him. But the truth was much heavier. Grace worked at a brick factory after dropping Nathan at school. Then every evening, she walked all the way back to bring him home safely. 20 kilometers. Every single day. Her shoes became torn within months. Eventually, she walked barefoot because buying new shoes meant less food for Nathan. Still, she never complained. Whenever Nathan apologized, she smiled and said, "One day, your education will carry us farther than these roads ever could." Nathan was brilliant in school. His teachers often said he had the mind of a future scientist. But some students mocked him. "Here comes the poor boy whose mother walks like a servant," they laughed. Nathan pretended not to care, but each insult cut deeply. One afternoon during heavy rain, Nathan saw his mother waiting outside the school gate completely soaked, shivering in the cold while holding an old umbrella over his school bag to keep his books dry. At that moment, something changed inside him. That night, Nathan secretly cried himself to sleep. The next morning, he woke early and looked at his mother's feet. They were bleeding, covered in cracks and wounds from years of walking barefoot. "Mom," he whispered, holding back tears. "Doesn't it hurt?" Grace gently touched his face. "Pain disappears when you're walking for someone you love." Those words stayed inside Nathan forever. Years passed. Grace grew weaker, but she never stopped walking. Even when fever burned through her body. Even when storms flooded the roads. Even when villagers told her education was pointless for poor people. She ignored them all. One winter morning, Grace collapsed halfway to school. Nathan screamed for help as villagers rushed toward them. The doctor later revealed the truth. Years of exhaustion, malnutrition, and physical strain had severely damaged her health. Nathan sat beside his mother's hospital bed, crying uncontrollably. "This is my fault," he whispered. Grace weakly shook her head. "No, my son. You are the reason I survived this long." Nathan made a promise that day. He would change their lives. From that moment, he studied harder than ever before. He spent nights reading under streetlights because they still could not afford electricity. Years later, Nathan earned a national scholarship to study engineering at one of the country's top universities. The entire village celebrated. But Grace could not stop crying. Not because she was sad. Because for the first time in her life, she felt her suffering had meaning. Before Nathan left for university, he knelt beside his mother and placed a small box in her hands. Inside was a new pair of shoes. Beautiful white shoes. "Pain disappears when you're walking for someone you love." Those words stayed inside Nathan forever. Years passed. Grace grew weaker. Grace stared at them silently. "I bought them with my first scholarship money," Nathan said through tears. "Now it's my turn to make sure you never walk barefoot again." Grace broke down crying and hugged him tightly. Years later, Dr. Nathan Parker became a world-renowned engineer known for building safe roads and transportation systems in poor rural areas. At an international award ceremony, reporters asked him what inspired his life's work. Nathan smiled and pointed toward an elderly woman sitting proudly in the front row wearing white shoes. "My mother," he said. The audience turned toward Grace as tears filled her eyes. Nathan continued, "People call me successful because of the roads I built. But my mother built the first road with her own feet, so I could reach my dreams." The entire hall rose in applause. Grace cried quietly, remembering every painful step she had taken over the years. The rain, the heat, the hunger, the bleeding feet. And in that moment, she realized none of it had been wasted. Because a mother's love can walk through any pain just to see her child reach a better future.